It is that time again. Woohoo! It is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and today we'll work on our hearts. I was thinking more originally about um, the concept of sharing from the heart and shining from the heart. And what I thought overnight was it actually makes some sense to think about the physical aspect. So, where is your heart in a posture? Where are you leading? Because oftentimes we simply use the heart opener as our route to shining our heart. But there are things like folds that require you to shine your heart, to lead with your heart. So we're going to go there first. I'm actually going to grab my pillow, crawling over, and we're going to start in child's pose. And I'm using my pillow because I want to actually feel, or my cushion, I want to actually feel my heart touching the earth or the prop. So you can go ahead and move right into child's. And if you don't know what child's pose is, come face down on your mat. Your knees are wide, your big toes touch, and your arms are long in front of you. Ideally, you place your forehead on something. And I want to feel the heart connect to something, which is why I'm using a pillow. So I don't have my forehead connected unless I make fists, light fists out of my hands, and place one atop the other. And the reason I wanted to do this is, as I mentioned, to feel my heart connected to something. So if your heart's not touching the ground, maybe you first work your sitting bones back toward your heels, and then allow the spine to extend, the shoulders and the heart to drop down. If your heart still isn't connected to something, go ahead and place something underneath your chest. In restorative yoga, we use a big bolster for this to make the posture a bit more relaxing. But here it's more about recognizing the connection between the heart and something else. Now we'll begin to open up the chest and the shoulders and under the arms. So the arms lengthen if they are not, and the palms press together with the pinky fingers on the ground and the thumbs toward the sky. Make sure you have not lifted your sitting bones away from your heels. You want them as close as you can get them. And go ahead and bend the elbows to bring, sorry, my mouth is in my cushion, to bring your fingers behind your neck or between your shoulders. And then go ahead one at a time and walk your elbows forward until you can't walk them any farther. You don't want to lift the sitting bones from the heels. And maybe you can feel this all the way from the rib cage up to the elbows, or maybe from the hips all the way to the pinky fingers. Hands can drop. If you'd like to remove your pillow or prop for a few seconds, feel free. We're going to find our way upright. We're going to bring the knees in a little bit closer, but not stacked underneath your hips. And bring your feet a little bit wider. We're going to rise up. One of the things that's important to utilizing the heart is to understand all of the connectivity throughout the body, not necessarily head, shoulders, knees and toes, but kind of like that. So for me, leading with the heart also requires me to open up my hip flexors and my quads because they tend to be fairly tight. If you sit in a chair all day or if you sleep wrapped up in a fetal position, that can take place. So we're going to go ahead and simply see if we can keep the tailbone tucked under and then shift back, not much, and come back up. Shift back from the knees. If you need to place something underneath them, do so. Press the shoelace sides of the feet to the ground. Using the glutes, using the belly, rise back up. And come back. There are certainly other ways to open up the hip flexors and the quads, but mine are so tight, and yours might be too, and this is early in the class, so we start here and rise back up. And again, shift back, tailbone tucked, and rise up. Nice. We're going to drop the hands by the sides, lift them over the head, and draw the hands to the heart. And remember all those times that probably you have worked on high plank to low plank. And I'm not going to say that necessarily you lead with the chest, but you sort of do. So we're going to just take a moment to come into a high plank with your knees up or your knees down, doesn't matter. And if your knees are down, you want to be a little bit longer than a tabletop. What's happening is you want the energy of the heart and the heels moving forward rather than back. And if you're coming all the way down to the ground, I'm dropping my knees to demonstrate, but also because I have a wonky wrist. You draw the elbows in and you shift the heart forward, 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 so that your nose, chin, and chest come down in that order. And then it's the same thing with your back bend. We're going to do a Sphinx. So it's really easy to bend the elbows, to bring them under your shoulders. Maybe not for everybody, but it's relatively easy. It's really easy to squeeze your glutes. So if you're squeezing your glutes, send your feet a little wider. Now, instead of just pressing up, think about lengthening from the navel all the way up to the heart, and then from the heart to the throat. So it's as if you're leading with your heart, sending your heart sort of forward of your fingers, as if you could scoop it there by gliding the hands back and gliding the heart and hips forward. And let's breathe. 3, 2, 1, and come all the way down to the mat, one ear to the mat. Beautiful. Now, in this phase of today where we're leading with our heart, the physical is as important as the mental. We're going to take the right hand and place it just outside the right chest area. You're moving your left arm in its cactus shape to the left of the mat. Now we're going to roll over onto the left side, opening up the left shoulder. You can always lift the right leg or place the foot behind the left calf, or whatever feels good. Maybe you take a few little energetic movements of the leg up and down. And then we come down and switch our ear to the other side, the right ear. Right ear, right arm. Now in a cactus shape, left hand just outside your left chest. And we press and roll. We're opening up here the shoulders, the chest, maybe even into the triceps, but certainly all of the muscles around the chest. And we come back and into child's pose. This kind of stuff, when you're really focusing, can be a whole lot of work. So you want to give yourself a break where you can, where it makes sense without staying too much into child's pose. I'm just kind of pressing the heels of my hands into the earth and sending those sitting bones as far back as I can, and then I'll rest down. So, when do you lead with your heart in a fold? Let's draw back up and find our way to a seat. This was kind of meant to be a flow, and I'm flowing a lot less than I thought we might. So, sit for a moment and think. Where would you leave with your heart in a fold? Not in a standing fold, because there you're using gravity to support you, to draw the spine and the neck long and let the head loose. Well, in a seated forward fold, leading with your chest, it almost doesn't matter what kind of fold you are taking. Shirshasana, seated double-legged forward fold, or anything else. So we're going to go ahead and first widen our legs, sit up nice and tall. If you lift the heart and draw the belly in, you start to get a stretch in your hamstrings, although some dancers I know probably wouldn't because they need a bit more than that. So we are going to start simply by taking a look over the left knee. So your heart is now sort of facing the left toes. If I say it's facing the left knee, we start to hunch, which is not what we're looking for. So imagine that you're leading with your heart, not your nose, not your forehead, not the top of your head. You're leading with your heart past your toes. Rather than thinking down, think long. You might not get very far. I am not going to. But let's just stay there for a few moments. Rise up, use the belly, face the middle. Take the same thing, lead with the heart. Rather than rounding the spine to get as close to the ground as possible, lead with the heart forward, like the same height as your heart, maybe a teeny bit lower. And then you can drop your head once you feel like you've reached your edge. But before you do, take a little crawl forward. So long spine leads with the heart. Rise back up, use the belly, face the right knee. Same gig here. Reach those heels away from you, press the calves to the earth, sit up nice and tall, and we face the right side. So we're sort of facing above the toes if you think about where the heart is. Now we're going to hinge from the hip, lead with the heart, forward. You might notice that often when I do seated forward folds, I have you bring your arms straight out in front of you and lock them back into your shoulders. And that is to help with leading with the heart. We'll come back up. A little shift back. See if you can use your inner thighs to draw your feet together. And now we'll do Shirshasana. So we'll take the right foot inside the left thigh. Left leg should be straight out of your hip. And we're going to lead with the heart once again. So let's try it with the arms out in front. Your arms out in front, you can still do your little hanging over my computer thing, right? Or I'm looking down at my device. Instead, we're going to sit up straight. We're going to draw the shoulder blades together. See the difference there? From this to this. From this to this. So we're going to stay here. And now as we hinge at the hips, we lead with the heart as if the heart could come through the fingertips toward the toes. So we're looking for a nice long spine. You might get less far or less low than you normally would. So we'll take a breath in. And then we shift forward again. Leading with the heart. Take a breath in. Shift forward. See if you can keep as straight back as possible and the hands can draw down to the earth. But it is the heart that is leading toward your toes, or perhaps almost as if the heart could kind of spread the top of that leg nice and long. We'll rise back up for a little hip opener. We're going to stack logs. So we'll take that left leg, it's a little early in class, so it might be far away from the right, but they're going to stack with the shins as parallel as possible. You can always place a pillow or something under the lifted knee, and we sit up nice and tall. This also leads with the heart, but you don't want the belly kind of dumping down. So draw the belly in, lift the heart, lower the shoulders. We will do some flow momentarily. All right, Janu Shirshasana. We straighten the right leg, bring the sole of the left foot inside the right thigh. We sit up tall. Arms float in front, lock into your shoulders. Tall, tall, tall. Shine that heart. Exhale, forward with your heart. And forward with the heart. One more time, forward with the heart. Reach, reach, reach. Maybe the hands drop us so you can keep a nice long spine. And we smile. We find a little joy in the practice. Maybe it's joy because some of us have had or will have had by tomorrow a 5-day break from work. Not all of us will have had, so I send gratitude and graciousness out to all of those who have been working on our behalf. And we rise back up. This time we stack the logs again, opposite way, right ankle above the left thigh. All right, we're going to make our way into a tabletop. You want to take a few cats and cows or any other shape that you want. If you have wonky hands or wrists or thumbs, you might go into a forearm position. Finding as much stretch and pressure into the mat as you can with the tops of the feet, the finger pads, or the forearms, or the finger pads and the forearms, depending on where you are. Maybe rolling cat-cows feel good. We return to a neutral spine with the hands on the mat. If you have trouble with your wrist, you can always place hands on blocks or 3-pound weights on blocks, and your hands can hold on to them. We're going to float the right leg high. Reach, reach, reach. Square up your hips, right knee to right elbow or tricep. Inhale, extend. Knee to nose. Inhale, extend. Knee crosses the body, left elbow area. Extend. Bend that knee and then pump that leg up and down, or you're welcome to reach around to the pant leg, the ankle, or the foot on the right. Use your left hand and find your quad stretch. Everybody draw the knee to the nose. Inhale, lengthen out. And then go ahead and sweep that right leg above the left calf as far outside your mat as possible. You might take a look and see your foot. Glide the front of your right hip toward your left heel. We're taking a left glute opener here. You can draw to your forearms. You do not have to keep a straight back. If you feel like you can use a little bit more glute stretch, right toes tuck, right knee lifts, and the heel reaches away from you. Return to a 3-legged tabletop and draw your knee to your nose. Extend and bring the knee back down. Any organic movements the body is calling for, take them here. Find a little joy in the movement, in the fact that you came to your mat. Maybe that joy is like a little pat on the back. As Frank Turner says, be more kind. The left leg floats off the mat. Square up your hips. Knee to your left elbow. Inhale, extend. Knee to your nose. Get long. Knee crosses the body toward the right elbow. We lengthen back out. One more time, knee to nose. Extend the leg, bend the knee. And then either reach around with your right hand to take a hold for your quad stretch, or pump that leg up and down. We'll draw the knee to the nose again. Lengthen back out. This time that left leg sweeps over the right calf as far as out of the mat as we can get it. And we slide the bottom and the leg backwards until you're as close to your left heel, your right heel as possible. Glute opener can be deepened by tucking the left toes and floating the knee off the mat. Let's find one more three-legged table. Knee comes to the nose, scoop it up, lengthen back out, and the knee returns to the mat. A little shimmy, shimmy, shake, shake. And remember, if you're ever in downward dog and it's too much, you can go to a tabletop. If you're feeling really tired or exhausted or out of breath or something hurts, maybe you went to child's pose. If something hurts during the process of finding the posture, maybe you make a little adjustment and do something alternative. Hands walk forward a couple of inches, tuck your toes, slowly lift the hips into a downward dog. You might pedal in and out. Chest energy toward the thighs. Belly energy in and up. Rise to the tiptoes. Press the chest toward the thighs. Draw the heels toward the mat. It's a direction, not a destination. Rise to the tiptoes. Bend your knees and look past your hand. Feel your heart. And then take a walk to your hands at the front of your mat. You can always hop, skip, jump, forward, fold. Anybody you like, I'm going to take a yogi toe walk. We take a little lift, heart reaching, and we fold a little deeper. Nod your head, shake your head, open and close your jaw. Slowly rise to stand and exhale to stand if you have low back issues, and inhale if you do not. Arms sweep high, let them cross. Come back down and up, let them cross the other way. Come back down and up. Right hand drops. We get super duper tall and take a little tilt over to the right. Move that right hand into a half bind behind your back. Get your fingers as close to your left hip as possible. Rise back up. Take a hold of the right fingers with the left and draw them over. Stand up straight. Draw the belly in. Now we're going to take a very different approach to chair. We're going to do this a few times. So I want you to draw the belly in, lift with your heart, lean forward from your hips. And the reason the arm is on the back is to make sure we're not dumping into the back. Now sit down in your chair. See how the back is straighter, the booty is not out? That's what you're looking for in the chair. Rise to your tiptoes. Woo! Draw your heels back down, sink a little deeper. Release both hands. Rise up. Left hand down to the thigh. We get tall, 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 and a tilt over to the left. Excuse me. Left arm half bind. This side might feel very different, looser, tighter, doesn't matter. We'll use the fingers on the right hand as we rise up, to take a hold of the left fingers, and then move that left arm as far to the right as possible. Stand up straight. Tuck your booty, draw your belly in. If your knees are locked, unlock them. This is hard for some of us. And then we lean forward from the hips, drawing the belly in, straight back, and then we sit into our chair. The booty doesn't stick out. We're drawing in and out, the tailbone forward, and we breathe. Rise up to both tippy toes. Sink deeper. Pause. Draw the heels down. Move your hands to the center of your back. Take a forward fold. Hands release, halfway lift. Guess what that leads with? Draw the belly in, drop your tailbone a little bit. Shoulders toward your hips. Heart is reaching as forward, forward, forward as you can. Exhale, forward fold. Rise to stand. Breathe out, forward fold. A halfway lift, same gig. Forward fold. Rise to stand. Arms overhead, arms in front. Lock them back into your shoulders. Shift forward from your hips. Now you've got a little more weight to carry because the arms are out in front. Sit into chair. Now I'm going to mess you up a little bit because we're going to find a scoop of the belly, tailbone forward, and we're going to round the spine. So we're squeezing the lowest ribs toward the hips. So really are kind of tucking, squeezing, rounding, and then we're coming back out, straight back. Tuck, 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 tuck. Reach, 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 reach. And now lead with the heart. One more time. Ribs squeeze toward the hips. Arms forward. Yeah, hard work. And then we lift the heart forward and up, and we rise to stand. Beautiful forward fold. Nice work, everyone. Halfway lift. We're going to move into a runner's lunge. Hands down, left foot to the back of the mat. Now, this is also a place where it is super easy to just round the shoulders down. Some people find it better to use blocks because they can reach their heart forward more. You might move your hands back a little bit, but imagine heart forward, shoulders back, belly energy away from your thigh, maybe not the belly itself. Now we're going to take a fold by stretching the front leg in front of us and folding over it, keeping on the ball of the back foot. Here we're not leading with the heart, but your belly should be connected to your thigh. Head is heavy. Slowly we peel forward, leading with the heart, drawing the belly in, using that back leg powerfully, front knee pointing straight up to the sky. Exhale, lengthen and fold. Inhale, runner's lunge. One more time, lengthen and fold. Inhale, runner's lunge. Left hand or fingertips down to take your twist. Maybe it's a half bind. Maybe your hand is on your hip. Press into the big toe mound of that front foot. Long spine on the breath in, heart forward. Twisty, twisty from the navel on the breath out. Right hand down, back knee down. We're going to rise up to Anjaneyasana. I like to keep my hands by my sides to start with. to find my back bend. If you feel wobbly, right foot over to the right. So now we are in an actual back bend. Having worked the shoulders, the underarms, the chest, we now have a bit more openness to draw the tailbone down. Press into the top of the back foot. Press into the heel of the front foot and lift the heart. Now see if your arms can come overhead, keeping that back bend like you're squeezing your shoulder blades together. East-west twist, left arm forward, right arm back. See if you can keep your balance. Hands stack on your hip and your chin drops. Sink further into your front knee. Here's where we're opening up the quads and the hip flexors again, especially if we squeeze the left glutes. Come forward, both hands drop down. Tuck your back toes under. We're going to find pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. So hop the back foot halfway up. Great place to find a half lift. Reaching forward, shining your heart. Exhale, forward fold. Hips should be parallel. Head loose. Hands to the mat, step forward, forward fold. Halfway lift. Sit into chair, nice long back. Inhale, stand, and breathe out, forward fold. Take that halfway lift again, even with bent knees. Fold, step back, high plank. You might go express to downward dog or find your low plank into your back bend, heart, and then downward dog. I'm going to stay on table because my wrist is bothering me. Bend your knees, look forward, make your way to the front of your mat for another forward fold. Bring your hands together or wrap your arms around each other behind your thighs. Sit down. Yes, we're looking down. And use your arms to pull up against the thighs without straightening. And now slowly straighten, pulling in the arms, and drop your hands. Halfway lift. Leading with the heart, forward fold. Right foot to the back of the mat, runner's lunge. Organize yourself here. Let the posture find you. Heart forward, belly in, shoulders away from the ears. Powered up back leg. Lengthen the front leg, fold over it, drop your head. Do not place the right heel down. Inhale, peel the heart forward, the shoulders back, runner's lunge. And again, exhale, fold. Inhale, runner's lunge. Last time, breathe out, forward fold. Inhale, runner's lunge. Right hand down, left arm high, twist. Drop your back knee, stay in your twist. Rise up, Anjaneyasana. I know that was a little different from the other side. It was purposeful. Find your balance. Open up that heart. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. If your belly's just hanging out there, well, especially after Thanksgiving, mine is a bit, but you're going to tuck your tailbone forward. Press into the top of the back foot and the heel of the front. Looks like I'm leaning a little bit. Arms now overhead. See if you can maintain your back bend like your shoulder blades are falling in love. East-west pose, right arm forward, left arm behind. Hands cup your left hip. Drop your chin. Sink deeper into your front knee. Hands frame your front foot. We tuck the back toes under and hop that foot halfway up the mat for pyramid pose. The pyramid's the strongest foundational structure in existence. In architecture and in yoga. Let's move the hands toward the center of the mat and step the feet nice and wide on either side of the hand. The toes move out, we'll move into a squat. Whew, thighs are tired. Nice straight back. Let's find our way to a seat, any way that works for you. You might just drop back and down. Woo. Take a little sip of water. Bringing it down to the mat. We're going to move into a few back bends, bridges. If you have wheel in your practice or you're working on it, you can do so safely. Feel free. But we're going to start with a half boat. You can do a full boat if you like. But the idea here is to make sure, guess what? That the heart is up, the belly is in, the tailbone is tucked. So what happens in half boat or full boat oftentimes is we round our backs. Again, it doesn't mean we're not working our core muscles, but if we're sitting up, so I don't know if you see the difference. I'm in half boat, I'm sort of rounding into it, and now I'm lifting. So we're going to take a breath in, twist to the right, keep your arms the same distance apart. Keep the feet on the ground, inhale center, heart lifted, exhale left. Belly strong, heart strong, into center, exhale part way down. Check that the heart is lifted, the belly is in. Breathe in, breathe out, twist right. Inhale, middle, exhale, twist left. Inhale, middle. One more time down, part way. Keep that heart lifted, keep the belly strong, breathe in. Exhale right. Breathe in middle. Heart lifted, exhale center. Into center. Exhale all the way down to the mat. Full body pencil stretch. Now, for those of you who can go right into bridge safely or wheel safely, you don't have to follow my cadence. You can move right in and take 2 to 3 bridges. If you like a supported bridge, go ahead and grab a block or a rolled up blanket or a rolled up hoodie to set yourself up. Otherwise, I'll invite others to follow the instruction by bringing feet to the mat. Normally in yoga, we move the heels really close to the bottom. If you're taking bridge, I'm going to have you move your feet a little away for more Pilates style bridge so that you can scoot your shoulder blades toward your hips. Point your tailbone up to flatten your low back. Hands on the ground. And then we're going to keep that tailbone pointing up as we shift the knees forward and lift the hips. You might squiggle your shoulder blades toward each other. Keep that tailbone pointing up and use your feet, which will use your thighs. Heart lifts like you're shining it behind your head. Unzip all the way down to the mat. Lengthen your low back. If you like, without twisting, you can take your feet as wide as your mat and just let the knees touch. And those being guided, we'll take one more Pilates length bridge. Low back on the ground, tailbone tilted toward the sky, knees forward, hips lift. Heart lifts. Tailbone lifts. And unzip all the way down to the ground. This time, we'll shift the hips over to the left. Take the right ankle outside the left knee and drop both knees to the right. Arms flop out in a T, and the gaze, the nose moves toward the left. More important for the shoulder blades to be on the ground than the knees to be on the ground. All right, we'll draw the left foot back to the mat, straighten things out. Drop the right foot, hips over to the right, left ankle outside the right knee, and we drop both knees to the left. The nose turns to the right. Scoot the right foot in, shift the hips to the center, and then any posture that your body calls for here, that could be a happy baby, maybe legs up the wall, maybe you just hug the knees in and take a rock left and right, finding your space, your cadence. Maybe you take circles with your ankles, your wrists, open and close fists, open and close the toes. Just taking your time here. If you're done with that posture, feel free to take a second ending posture before Shavasana. And it could be Supta Baddha Konasana, which is always a fun posture, although vulnerable, so you could put a hand on the belly and a hand on the heart. And choose your Savasana. I was trying to combine Shavasana and posture. Choose your Shavasana posture. I did it again. And allow yourself to sink into the earth. A big abiding breath in. Cleanse it out. 2 more. And the Buddhist Tibetan teachings, there is the unification of the heart and mind, not a separation, called the heart mind. And uniquely enough, called the heart mind. And so when we think about mindfulness and think about kindness and we think about shining the heart, leading with the heart, it's really about choosing to do so mindfully aware that we have the choice and we have the tools. So consider here what behavior, what characteristics you would like to imbue into the rest of your day or evening that are associated with shining the heart. It may just be something you're working on internally. Perhaps you'd like to try it externally. Or maybe that's something you're already working on, so you might consider taking another path. Become aware of this human vessel again that is upon your mat. And let some deeper breaths bring movement, bring a return, an awakening, a reawakening to the physical being. And you can gather your knees up and either move on to one side and into a seat or rock and roll forward and backward until you're in a seat. Or just use your core to get there. We'll close our practice with a chant of Om. If you'd like to join in, feel free. If it's not your thing, it's also cool. Maybe you could imagine exhaling the breath out of the mouth and Om riding on that. The palms draw together like they have found their home at your heart. You may lower your eyes or close them. We'll breathe all the air from the lungs first. Fill up from the bottom of the belly all the way to the middle of the forehead. Allow the thumb knuckles to gently touch the center of your forehead, your lips, your heart. Return them back to the forehead. May your thoughts, your words, and your actions be those of kindness. We bow together. Namaste. Thank you to each and every one of you who joins me periodically or nearly every week. Thank you for those who have subscribed. Thank you for those who have come in physically to practice. It is always wonderful to practice with you wherever you are, and whether it's through the internet or in person, doesn't matter. All that matters is you've come to your mat. Congratulations, gratitude, and have a great day. Thank you.